being here tonight. This is our March the 6th, 2025 Bowling Green, Warren County Planning Commission meeting. Matthew, if you would call the roll, please.
Commissioner Drain?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gay?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Vitale? Commissioner Volker?
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, you have the minutes of our February the 20th meeting in your packet. Are there any questions? Hearing none, would call for a motion, please.
Motion that be approved.
Second.
Commissioner Starks?
Yes.
Commissioner Volker?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Drain?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gay?
Abstain.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Matthew. Commissioners, in your packets, you have the subdivision site development plans. Are there any questions? Okay, hearing none, then they will be approved as submitted. Mr. Peterson or staff, any new business? Okay. We have one old business item tonight. Excuse me, Mr. Moore.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Moore. I request that you order that the record tonight include the relevant regulatory and statutory provisions, the commission's entire file for each application on tonight's docket, and the qualifications of those staff witnesses. Finally, I'd ask that you administer the oath to each of those witnesses.
Thank you very much. You swear to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we have no new business. We have one old business item tonight. There was a motion to remove from the table back in November. And so we will bring this back up again tonight. And this will be voted on by Commissioners Drain, Graham, Starks, Volkert, Shaw, Vitale, and Warren. And so it is 2024 V23 Celico Partnership in Verizon Wireless and the Tires LLC and Vertical Bridge, care of Clark Quinn, have filed an application to approve a variance of 431 feet from the 1,000-foot setback requirement from any residential district, structure, or use for a cell tower. This is concurrent. This is a concurrent application from a previously approved wireless communication tower, cell tower located a portion of the property at 1293 Old Union Church Road, docket number 2024-01 TC. The property is zoned A.
So, Mr. Warren, if one of you would please, if it's your will, make a motion to remove this case from the table and proceed with the hearing tonight.
Make a motion that we remove this case from the table and proceed. Second.
Commissioner Volker?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Drain?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gay? No, apologies. Commissioner Graham?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks?
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren?
Yes, sir. Ms. Hurt?
Bear with me here.
While she's getting started, I might explain why we did that procedure tonight when we've never done that before. And it's because we didn't set tonight's hearing at the time it was tabled back in November. And so that necessitated the need for the motion. Well, I've got to justify my existence.
All right, thank you. I will try to keep this brief. You should have a memo at your seat. I think we've kind of reviewed some of the information within that memo already. This was before you back on November 7th. And at the time it was tabled in order for the applicant to explore alternate locations because of the concern that was stated for the variance, specifically as the tower was proposed to be located within the required 1,000-foot setback from any residential district, structure, or use. Since November, we received an amended variance request and exhibits, and those are attached to the memo that was in your packet. The changes include a reduction in the distance of the variance being requested from 670 feet to 431 feet. And the proposed tower location now complies with the required 1,000-foot setback from all residential properties except for the residence that is located on the same property where the tower is proposed to be constructed. You do also have an updated motion page at your seats, if you're inclined to make a motion. And I think that's all I have, but I know the applicants are here if you have any other questions.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hurt. Commissioners, any questions for this request? Applicant, anything you would like to add? Anything you'd like to add different?
No, just, I'm Russell Brown from Clark Quinn Law Firm, 320 North Meridian Street. Suite
Mr. Brown, you
1100.
swear to tell the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much.
Suite 1100 in Indianapolis. I want to thank staff for working with us. We have, and appreciate your consideration of not denying this in November and allowing us to go back and attempt to make this work. I think this solution is the best solution possible. It allows you to meet all setbacks from all surrounding properties or uses, with the exception of the parent parcel, the folks who are leasing to the wireless tower. So we appreciate your indulgence on it and appreciate continuing to work with it. Happy to answer questions if you have any. Otherwise, we'd appreciate your approval of this.
Mr. Brown, appreciate you driving down again tonight from Indianapolis. And Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Brown regarding?
So just to clarify, we only have the motion to approve. We've already done the zoning portion of it, is that correct, or am I incorrect about
You've already
that?
approved the tower to be somewhere on this property.
Got it.
This is the second component of that, the variance.
Right, so that would be only the variance portion of it, am I correct about that?
Correct. And
Got
that's the updated motions sheet that you have at your seat.
it. Very good, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Is there anyone in the audience tonight that has a question or opposition? Yes, sir. If you would come to the microphone, please.
Brian Fisher, 680 Covington Street.
Swear to tell the truth, Mr. Fisher.
I do. I was one of the neighbors that opposed this last time. I just want to thank the commission for pushing this back. I'm okay with the proposed location as it is now, but I just want to say thank you, and I'm good with it.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Anyone else in the audience tonight has a comment or a question regarding this request? All right. Commissioners, you have a updated motion at your desk. I would call for a motion, please.
I make the motion to approve the request for a variance at 1293 Old Union Church Road, docket number 2024 V23, a variance of 431 feet from the minimum setback of 1,000 feet from a residential district structure or use. The testimony presented in this public hearing has shown that the granting of this variance will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations.
Second.
Commissioner Starks?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volkert?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Drain?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren?
Yes, sir. The motion approved in its final Planning Commission action. Our next item tonight is 2025-04 DP and 2025-C07 Keeping It LLC, care of Jennifer Sharber, has filed an application to amend the general development plan conditions for approximately 1/4 of an acre located at 1244 Magnolia Street. The applicants filed a concurrent application requesting a conditional use permit to operate at short-term rental. The area subject to the application, the area subject to this application is currently zoned OP, residential office, and professional residential. And so, Jenny?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a pre-application meeting for the property on Magnolia Street back in early January. The current zoning of the property is OPR, office professional residential. Current land use is commercial, and then future land use designation is mixed-use residential. And then here are some photos of the home from different perspectives. This is from the alley. And then here's their site plan for your all's reference. The Planning Commission approved the zone change from RM3 to OPR in 2021, and then at the same time granted variances for the required side yard setback, required landscape buffer between a vehicle use area and common property line, and a waiver for lot coverage, also in 2021. For some references, and then looking down, or looking back to the brief summary of the request, they are proposing to amend the development plan for 0.23 acres roughly, located at 1244 Magnolia Street. The purpose of the application is to amend the hours of operation to allow for the potential of a short-term rental use at this location. And those DPCs can be found on page 3. And then if the development plan amendment is approved, the applicant is seeking concurrent approval of a conditional use permit for that short-term rental. And that information regarding the CUP or conditional use permit can be found beginning on page 5 of your staff report. So looking down to the bottom of page 1, the proposed development plan amendment and conditional use permit applications comply with a majority of the criteria assessed in the review process, remains consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan, and are generally compatible with the surrounding area. Staff has included some considerations regarding required landscaping to be installed on the property, so we will look over to page 2 to the very bottom under landscaping and screening. And so looking down to the bottom, the Planning Commission granted that variance for the required landscape buffer between a vehicle use area and common property line in 2021, though the applicant never planted the required landscaping. The previously approved landscape plan also included a 6-foot privacy fence, which was destroyed by the 2021 tornado. If the development plan amendment and conditional use permit applications are approved tonight, a short-term rental permit will not be issued by staff until such time the property is brought into compliance with all required landscaping, including submission of a revised landscape plan. And with that note, we will look back. Staff's recommendation is for approval pending public hearing testimony and discussion of those items. And that's all that I have, but I'm happy to answer any of the Commission's questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions before we call the applicant or their representative up here?
So Jenny, just to clarify, we don't have to enforce the landscape tonight. They don't have to make any agreement. They've already agreed to do that, correct?
Correct. It's just a note for the Commission's reference regarding that application.
Got it. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Graham. Any commissioners, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is the applicant here, any thing you would like to add different? Mr. Kilgore?
Will Kilgore, 1010 College Street. I swear to tell the truth.
Thank you, Will.
Good evening. I don't have too much to add on the DPC amendment portion of it. As staff said, the reason for that is just to allow for the conditional use permit, and then some of the other changes are just as a result of a change to the property due to the tornado, tearing down the fence and it already having been rezoned OPR. With respect to the conditional use permit, we would like to point out that, we think it is compatible with the area. That block of Magnolia has several properties that are already zoned for commercial uses, several of them being zoned general business, which generally speaking allows for short-term rental uses. So we think that a short-term rental at this property would be compatible. And then just another point, with respect to any pedestrian or like vehicle circulation concerns, with the parking behind the building, there's plenty of parking for the guest, and we'd have the access on and off of Magnolia as well as the exit onto the alley, so we don't think that would be a concern. But that's pretty much all I have, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Kilgore?
Mr. Kilgore, I have one question. Is the revised landscape plan being developed now, or is it?
It hasn't been developed now, but we're talking outside, and the property owner is well aware that, it's something that needs to be done. And Rodney McGahee's here as well, and they've been talking about, they're going to get that together and understanding that the short-term rental permit won't be issued until that's been satisfied.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Starks. Commissioners, any other questions?
So just one quick question for staff. We don't have to consider parking or anything. All of that's been considered already, correct?
Yes, and they have adequate parking.
All right, very good. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. All right, thank you, Will. Is there anyone in the audience tonight that has a question or opposition to this request? All right. Hearing none, would call for a motion, Commissioners.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed general development plan amendment, docket number 2025-04 DP Based upon the testimony and documents presented in this public hearing, the proposed General Development Plan amendment is consistent with the adopted Focus 2030 Comprehensive Plan, as demonstrated by its compliance with the objectives and action items presented in the staff report. Further, I also find that there have been major changes of economic, physical, or social nature within the area of the property in question, and I request that the findings of fact and recommendation include a summary of evidence and testimony presented by the witnesses at this public hearing.
Second. Commissioner Graham,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volker,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Drain,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. The motion approved and Planning Commission with final action for both applications. Thank you all for being here tonight. Our next item tonight is,
We need a second motion on the conditional use permit.
oh, yes, excuse me. We need if someone would make a motion
I'll
on the
second.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit docket number 2025 CZ7 for short-term rental with conditions as presented in the staff report. Testimony presented in the public hearing has shown that the use is not detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare in the zone in which it was proposed. The use will not contribute toward any overburdening of municipal services. The use will not result in increased traffic congestion, additional parking problems, substantial increase in population density, environmental problems, or constitute a nuisance, that the use otherwise meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volker, Commissioner Drain,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
yes, sir. Thank you, Matthew, for correcting me. So this is a Planning Commission final action on both applications. Our next item tonight is 2025-08Z County, A.A. Cooper Transportation, care of Nick Lemon, the applicant, and Platinum Development LLC, care of Rob Coleman, the owner, have filed an application to rezone 15.78 acres located southeastern terminus of the Whitney Drive right-of-way from ag to light industrial with a general development plan. Ms. Hurd?
Thank you, Chair Warren. We had a pre-application meeting back in January for the property you just referenced, located at the end of Whitney Drive. If you see on the aerial view here, the area in question is outlined in red, and if this is to move forward, then Whitney Drive will be extended to serve the site. The current zoning is agriculture, and I will mention that this may look like a familiar area to you all. The adjacent property was rezoned in 2023, and the rest of the development was rezoned back in 2021. The current land use is agriculture, and the future land use designation is mixed-use commercial with a little sliver of industrial. And here are some photos of the property. And then we'll leave the concept plan up. And just to reiterate the summary of the request, the applicants are proposing to rezone the property from ag to light industrial in order to develop the property with a 16,000 square feet industrial building and associated semi-truck parking. In our review of the application, we found that the proposal complies with the majority of the criteria assessed in the review process, and we did find the application to be generally compatible with the surrounding area. One thing I will mention is that the development plan conditions that are included with this application are nearly identical to those that were approved for the 2023 and 2021 zone changes. And our staff recommendation is for approval, pending public hearing testimony and discussion. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Hurd. Commissioners, any questions for staff? All right. Hearing none, is the applicant here? Anything y'all would like to add?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much for being here tonight. All right, any opposition? Okay, then commissioners would ask for a motion, please.
Make Go ahead.
I make the motion to approve the proposed zoning map amendment together with the condition upon the general development plan docket number 2025-07ZBG. Based upon the testimony and documents presented in this public hearing, the proposed zoning map amendment is consistent with the adopted Focus 2030 comprehensive plan as demonstrated by its compliance with the objectives and action items presented in the staff report. Therefore, the proposed zoning map amendment is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan. Further, I request that this motion include the summary of evidence and testimony presented by the witnesses at this public hearing.
Second.
Commissioner Drain,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volkert,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. It's a planning commission final action in 21 days unless a request is made to a legislative body to hear this item. Mr. Peterson, any other items tonight?
Yes, sir. I'd just like to call your attention to the handout you had at your tables. I'm sure you all are aware that what could BGB effort going on right now for the 2050 vision for the community. And I know you're also aware of our transportation plan efforts that are going on with the same time frame. It is lined up as such that we were able to join forces and kind of combine the two, and we'll have a transportation-themed public face-to-face input session on next Thursday, March 13th from 4:30 to 6:30. That'll be at the Sloan Convention Center on Wilkinson Trace in Ballroom C. So we're going to, on the transportation plan side of things, there'll be showing feedback from our first round of public engagement. Perhaps one of the more interesting things, we'll also be sharing a draft list of all of the projects that we have lined out for the community for our transportation network, and that includes both federal, state, and local roads, all three. And we are looking for input to help prioritize those, discuss any issues that anyone in the public might have. And then also the What Could BGB folks will be there to answer any questions on that process, as well as help you, hopefully you go on the whatcouldbgb.com and continue to vote, agree or disagree on all of the over 5,000 statements that have been submitted by our citizens. We have over 3,500 unique items submitted, so it will take a while to go through every single one of them if you do, but we would like you to go on and vote on as many of those as you can. It will take several hours to get through all of them, but you can do a few a day. But that'll last till March 17th, and then they will close that process and start analyzing the results of that through that process. But it is kind of a co-branded thing. The specific thing we'll be looking at on the transportation side will be our list of projects, our goals and objectives we have for the community over the next 25 years. So we encourage people to get on those websites, check those things out, as well as to vote on the agree or disagree on what could BGB, and should be pretty informative. It is open house style meeting, so you can come and go at any time from that 4:30 to 6:30 time frame. So be happy to answer any questions that you may have. But other than that, I just encourage you all to participate however you can.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Peterson?
No, sir.
Amy, we didn't mention, but we are sorry about the passing of your father, and just thinking of you during these days. We have our next meeting in 2 weeks, full agenda. All right, everybody get their sleep and do what?
It's on the 20th.
Yeah. So that would be 2 weeks from today, Christian.
I would love to.
That's also the night we hear the budget too.
Yes, we have, those that are on the budget committee, we are meeting Tuesday, I believe, at 12 o'clock at the Planning Commission office, and if you can't come, there will be a virtual option, or Megan will have her cell phone there to be able to listen to that. So, all right. Hearing nothing else, we stand adjourned tonight. Thank you all very much.